Have you ever wondered why you could be doing a great job as a leader and still have disconnected teammates? I think this is a growing problem in our culture today, and I'd love to share my thoughts on what's going on and how we can solve that. So let's get into it. First of all, let me just say this. I believe that every employee is a volunteer, and that's because people are trading their time, which they will never get back, for money that they can make anywhere. And in saying that, I want to acknowledge this simple fact. People spend more time at work, more often than not, than they do at home. So work then becomes a source of relationship for them. And when we understand that idea that people are in relationship with the work that they're doing, they're in relationship with their peers, and they are in relationship with the organization, we look at things a little bit differently. The problem is when organizations don't look at it this way, they create wounds in people. And wounds, especially deep ones, heal really slowly. For example, right now we are going through a massive wave of layoffs in corporate America. And they're laying people off so that their numbers look better to investors and shareholders. So we are literally saying to people, your livelihood, your work, your effort that you have put into this organization means nothing because we want to pad our stats and then make more money ourselves. How does that make sense? I went through the same thing several years ago where I was the manager of an organization and I was laid off because I was told that I made myself too redundant. They believed that they could pay one of my assistant managers pennies on the dollar more to do the same work that I was doing because I trained them up too well and they wanted to save money on their books. So now I was in a situation where my entire life was turned upside down. I wasn't bringing in income anymore, and I have a family. I wasn't, somebody that could be proud of my work anymore because it was gone. It dissipated. And then I had to find new work while still grieving the job that I had before. And I know many of us have gone through this and are going through this, but why does that need to be the case? Why are employers wounding their people just so that they can make their numbers look good? And layoffs aren't the only thing that are wounding people either, right? You can have a manager that continually bludgeons your confidence. You can have a manager or a leader that completely destroys any creativity that you may have because they want to control things. All these things create wounds in people. And I'm not talking about surface level things. I don't mean ticky-tacky things. I mean truly deep wounds in people. The problem is when people then leave that job, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily, they carry those wounds into the next organization that they're a part of. Then those leaders have to deal with those wounds as well, whether they're a great leader or not. And then if that person is not a good leader, guess what? Now we're deepening those wounds even more. And now we have distrust and disconnection with the workforce in general. And I think that's why Gen Z is growing up in a world where they don't trust their employers. It's because we aren't giving them a reason to trust us. So as leaders, we need to do a better job of identifying those people who are bringing in wounds that need to be healed into our organization, having those conversations with them, and then setting up a plan to build trust with them because we need to earn their trust as leaders, right? And then we also need to make sure that we aren't creating wounds in people as well that are in our organization. Remember, the people that are working for you are not zombies or mindless workers. They're human beings, and most of them have families. Most of them have relationships, and most of them take pride in what they're doing. So try not to sever those things by creating these wounds. So if getting that extra little bit of a notch in your numbers is more important than the livelihood of the person that's helping you produce those numbers, then you're way off base. Because if you have no workforce to produce numbers, those numbers don't exist. We need to treat people like people again. We need to be aware of the wounds that we are creating when we put either our selfish ambitions or the ambitions of the organization above the needs and the desires of the people that are helping to produce those numbers. So I just want you to be aware of those things that are going on, possibly in your organization, and for you to find ways to mitigate those things. So if you really like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues, and really start having some discussions, whether it's around the water cooler or however else you guys talk about things, whether it's Slack or whatever, about those wounds that people may be carrying, because the only way to heal those things are to confront them. I hope this helps you see things from a different perspective. Now it's time for you to get off of social media and lead well, my friend. See you next time.